Hey, how's it going everybody? Sinful Duck here, and welcome to another Grim Dawn video. Today, we're going to take a look at my new fire-based Purifier build. So this is, again, it's another build that's trying to do something a little bit different. There's lots of Purifier builds out there that I've seen that run, dual-wield pistol kind of thing. And yeah, we're not doing that. We're running this dude more like a caster, and we've got a pretty unique way of going about our main damage skill. So yeah, hopefully you guys will enjoy this. If you do, make sure you hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more, and yeah, with that said, let's go ahead and dive into this. Alright, here we are in game. Now before I get started, I do want to say that I'm going to try and keep this video as short as possible. I'm going to run through the actual build quickly and then get into the gameplay, because I'm sure that's the part you guys want to see. You want to see how this build performs. So we're going to fly through this section and get straight to the gameplay as quick as possible. But there will be a Grimtools link down below, so feel free to go down there and check that out if you need more details on the build. Feel free to ask any questions you have down in the comments, and here we go. We are all buffed up, so let's start off with the gear. The gearing for this character is not finished. There's still probably some items that I could upgrade, and some that probably just shouldn't even be here at the moment. But this is what we have for right now, so as we get better rolls we'll replace it, and maybe I'll do an update video for it. But for right now, let's start at the very top with the helmet, because the helmet is a huge part of this build. Gaze of Empyrean, so this is giving us fire damage, all kinds of fun stuff. But the biggest reason we're using this is the Aura of Censure and Vindictive Flame buff. So this is adding 4 meters to our Aura of Censure, which is massive. It's adding a huge amount of flat fire damage, and it's also adding 2 meters to Vindictive Flame, as well as more flat fire damage. So there you go. So that's the actual flat damage numbers that's adding to those two skills. And Aura of Censure is an amazing skill. And with this helmet, it's at, I believe, a 12 meter range. 11.8 meters. So yeah, basically it's at a 12 meter range, which is absolutely massive. Second, we're going to go through the rings here. First one is the Mythical Rain of Ice and Fire. This is actually a craftable ring. I happen to have the blueprint and was going through things trying to figure out what would work for this build. I still don't know if this is the best item for it, but it actually is pretty cool. So it's giving us crit damage, some fire damage, but it's given us 4% offensive ability, 4% OA, which is huge. It's increasing our armor because we crafted it, so we got that little buff. It's actually on the low side. I think when you craft, you can get up to 7%. It's like 3 to 7 or something like that. So we did get a low roll there, but no big deal. But the reason that we go with this is for the OA, the fire damage bonus, and then the skill, Elemental Force. So 10% chance on attack. You're going to get these little arcane bolts. They look like, I don't know how to explain them, but you'll see them in the gameplay. But you get these little arcane things that just swirl around you, and they just keep, you just keep getting more and more and more, and you can create this barrier between you and the enemies that if they want to get to you, they got to walk through a bunch of these things. And I mean, look at the damage on that. Over 6k fire damage, 4,000 or 4,400 cold damage. Then you've got the chance to burn and frostburn. That it can deal some pretty good damage on that thing. Mythical Combustion Band. This is here again for some of the stats there. We're getting plus 600 health, which is great. But the Combustion Skill. The Combustion Skill is so good. 10% chance on attack. It's going to deal fire damage. It's in a small radius around you. So when enemies get up close to you, they get hit by that. deals a little bit of fire damage, but it drops their fire resistance by another 8%, so that's really nice. We are running a set, but it's only a 3-piece set, the Cataclysm set here. So the Amulet is the first piece we'll take a look at. It's got crit damage, elemental, percent spirit, huge OA, and then some really nice resist rolls on there. But again, the biggest reason we like it is the Elemental Blast skill. So 10% chance on attack that this thing is going to create a blast that, again, it's right around your character. It's almost 5 meters, but it deals main hand damage and elemental damage. So very nice there, and it knocks the target down. So another really cool proc right around your guy. So if somebody does get through all your damage and gets close to you, which it's Grim Dawn, so I mean that there really isn't a good way to kite in this game. So at least not for the moment. So these skill procs that go off when things get near you is really nice. Next up is the Cataclysm's Eye, the offhand here, which has given us elemental damage again, cooldown reduction, which is nice, but it's giving us +1 to all skills. If you guys are a little newer to this game, plus to skills is one of the best ways that you can help increase your skills damage, aside from things like resist reduction and whatnot. But plus to skills is huge, absolutely huge. So something that gives plus to all skills, it doesn't look like a lot when you just look at it on the screen, but it is actually a massive buff. So +1 all skills is great. It's absolutely great. The boots, we did have these laying around because I've crafted. If you guys play this game for any amount of time, you'll realize that you use the stone plate greaves on like 90% of your builds. So you're gonna craft a ton of these. Save them. Anything that looks somewhat good, save them. I have a character that just has these stupid green boots. So when I make a new character, I go through, find these, and I happen to come across these stone plate greaves of Scorched Ends. So we get a nice armor boost, some movement speed, physical resist. I mean, lots of stuff. But the reason why I chose these, I honestly, you could probably get better rolls if you went with different prefix and suffix, but the reason why I threw these on is because it's got the Scorched Ends suffix for the Fireball skill, which is cool. I mean, it's a good chunk of extra damage, and we're dealing damage really quickly on this build. So 5% chance on attack is actually it's actually quite substantial. Next up is the metal. We've got the Tempest, Watcher's Crest of Scorched Ends. Again, this is a craftable one. After coming across the Fireball one there, I decided, let's craft, see what we can get here. And this happened to be the first Scorched Ends one that I crafted. So it's not the best overall for... it's probably not the best overall for the rest of the stats. I think I would rather have a Devastating Watcher's Crest instead of Tempest, but you know, it is what it is. So I got the Tempest of Scorched Ends, so we get a second Fireball there. Stats are still really good, but not, you know, not min-maxed to the fullest. So I'll probably stick with this instead of crafting more. Alright, and the final piece of the set, Cataclysm's Pact, the belt. Now that we're on the final piece, let's go through the set bonuses here. So 2-piece, 70% all damage, 70% elemental. The 3-piece is the reason we go for this. 10% crit damage, 100 OA, which 100 OA is huge. So is 10% crit damage. But the biggest thing is the Arcane Cataclysm. 100% chance on crit. Burst of arcane energy erupts at your command, which basically means it erupts where you're attacking. And it's a 4-meter radius that explodes out from whatever enemy you're hitting and does AoE damage on your target, which is incredible. Stuns targets 1.5 seconds. Deals a huge amount of damage. I mean, let me buff that up just so we can see what the numbers are here. But look at that. 16.6. 16.6 thousand elemental damage in an AoE. That is so good, and it can go off every 1.5 seconds. I mean, I'll demonstrate it here for you, just so you can get an idea. And this also will show you how far we're attacking right now with Aura of Censure. That is how far Aura of Censure reaches. And you can see the little arcane things coming out of us there. Let's hit both of these. So two things. You can see the fireballs going off. You can see the little arcane things swirling around us. That's from our ring. And you can see the explosions going off on the target dummies. Absolutely amazing. Alright, back to the gear. Let's finish this up real quick. Alright. Our relic here, we went for Ignifar's Combustion. We're getting the Ignifar's Combustion skill. 15% chance on attack that in a 7-meter radius around us, it's going to explode for fire, lightning damage, and drop 10% elemental resist. So more resist reduction and a little bit more damage. So very, very nice. And the final item we've got here is our weapon. Purifier's Ascendant Conduit of Arcane Balance. Very, very nice weapon. You can come across these everywhere. They drop like crazy. If you go through, this is one of the items that I've farmed on this guy. The easiest way to do that, Grimtools will tell you all the mobs that it drops from. But if you go out to Malmouth and you run around the Candle District, Steel Cap, Crown Hill, those 3 areas, the mobs out there have a huge chance of dropping this, so you're going to see a ton of them. But there's a bounty that you can pick up that will spawn a hero mob, and that hero monster has a huge, it's something like a 30% chance of dropping this. So you can basically just get that bounty, go out and kill him, restart the game without turning in the quest, and just keep farming him over and over and over. And that's basically what I did. Is you're gonna kill a bunch of these monsters along the way to that guy, and yeah, you're gonna find a ton of these. So I mean, you can see I've still got a couple other ones just sitting here. But why are we using this? We get, look at that, 377% fire damage. That's huge. We get a big amount of burn damage, 4% health, 2% OA. We're getting 13% casting speed, which is very important for this build. Plus 2 Vindictive Flame, Word of Pain, Blast Shield, Inquisitor Seal. I mean, what? There's so many plus the skills. Vindictive Flame, reduce the cooldown and adds more flat damage. So if you look at this one, we're getting buff up there. You're getting almost 1300 fire damage on Vindictive Flame there. We're getting almost 2900 fire damage on Vindictive Flame there. But yeah, even with just those 2, that's a lot of extra damage to that skill. So really, really cool. So I mentioned in the intro to the video that we've got a very unique way of doing our main damage with this build. So let me show you what we are doing. Our main damage ability is coming from Seal of Destruction. Gives you the skill StormFire. As you can see down below, it deals main hand damage, fire damage, lightning, electrocute, has 25% crit damage. It's actually a pretty strong ability, and it has 3 to 4 fragments. So basically what it does is it hits a target, it breaks in 3 or 4 pieces, and those pieces can either hit your current target or it can hit targets around it. So it gives it kind of a little splash damage effect. So I really, really like this skill, and it casts quickly. If you stack casting speed, look at this thing. You can see all the fragments falling off and just kind of laying around the target dummy. But look at all the damage on the second target dummy, and we're not even touching it. So that is our main damage source there. Anyway, so yeah, our main damage skill is coming from our weapon component. So really, I feel like I've never seen a build that is based around the Seal of Destruction. So this whole build revolves around the component and trying to figure out how to buff that up. That's our main damage skill, and let me show you everything else that we've got in the skill section to help augment that. Blackwater Cocktail. I'm using this almost like I would use Ravenous Earth on a Necromancer. It's something that I can throw out, it stays on the ground, it deals damage in an area, and if you look at it, at what we've got here, it reduces the target's offensive ability by a huge amount. So we've got that for sure. On the Inquisitor side, this is where most of our points are. You guys know what all of these do, so I'm not going to spend too much time running through all of this. But we are running Aura of Censure, very important, at almost a 12-meter radius. It's dealing a very, very high amount of fire damage. If you look at the amount of fire damage there, we also have more flat fire damage added to it by our helmet. So it's dealing a lot of fire damage. It's reducing the target's resist by 37%, and the reason why I like it at such a big radius is because Aura of Censure reduces 21% of all of the target's damage. So if they're within 12 meters of you, which basically all monsters will be within 12 meters of you, they're doing 21% less damage to you. So this helps make you very tanky. When you combine that with Inquisitor Seal, which is giving us 260 damage absorption, Blast Shield giving us 750 damage absorption, as well as the Phoenix Fire Devotion, which gives us another 128 damage absorption, we become really, really tanky with minimal amount of self-healing. Now, with that said, let's jump into the devotions. And I'll show you a lot of our devotions are very defensive. So when I say minimal self-healing, I mean attack damage converted to health. We are getting a lot of healing through our devotions. So I'm going to go through this quick. We have the Viper. Coming over here, we've got the Bard's Harp. So again, this is giving us a little bit of what we need. It's giving us some resists, but this is big for energy regen and the Inspiration passive here. Moving down, we've got the Empty Throne and the Hawk. We've got 3 points, just 3. We didn't fill this in Rowan's Crown, just for the Elemental Storm. Nothing down here. Obviously, we've already mentioned we've got the Phoenix Fire. We have the Lantern, and we do have the Behemoth. So this is giving us, this is where most of our health and a huge amount of health regen comes from. And then when the Skilled Giant's Blood procs, look at that, 280 health regen per second, which is much higher than that because we've got a lot of percent health regen that stacks on top. Alright, continuing up here, we have Soleil's Witchblade. This is giving us a little bit of fire damage, and it's also giving us the Eldritch Fire skill here, which is 25% chance on attack, that we deal a huge amount of fire damage, we slow them with their movement speed, and we reduce 23% of their fire resistance. Now that's actually going to go up, is it? No, it's not going to go up. We have one more level left to go on that, But yeah, 23% fire resistance. And cool thing with this is that it spreads. So you get it on one target and it's going to spread to all the nearby targets. So I really, really like those kinds of skills. And we have it attached to Blackwater Cocktail, which actually does something really interesting. It's 25% chance on attack. And Blackwater Cocktail works just like Ravenous Earth in the fact that it ticks very quickly, and it also increases the percentage on devotions. So it's 25% chance. If I change that to anything else, let's say Inquisitor Seal, it's 15. If I change it to StormFire, it's 15. If I change it to Word of Pain, it's 15. If I put it back to Blackwater, it's 25. So really, really cool to pick up Blackwater Cocktail just for devotion proccing. Moving along, we have Ulswin's Torch. Obviously lots of fire damage there, and the Meteor Shower skill. And finally, I believe this is the last one, we have Chariot of the Dead. This who we have mainly for the OA buffs and the Wayward Soul. This is another heal and a DA buff. So that is the build. We've looked at the gear, the skills, we've seen the devotions. This has been way longer than I wanted it to be, so thank you guys for watching. Again, thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more, and until next time, take it easy, guys.